I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic.
Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, America. What I'm about to share with you is, without a doubt, one of the most disturbing stories I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm sure it's going to be very disturbing to each of you as well. If not, then you have a serious, serious problem and should seek mental health for it. We have an emergency problem in America, and we must set politics aside and fix it immediately. Today, a whistleblower testified in front of Congress that the United States government is delivering migrant children to human traffickers at our border. Health and Human Services agent Tara Lee Rhodes warned the United States is the middleman in a child trafficking operation. She said she viewed firsthand what she identified as a sophisticated network of child migrant smuggling into forced labor and other forms of slavery, and is calling on Congress to act to crack down on the U.S. role in that network. The hearing was titled "The Biden Border Crisis: Exportation of Unaccompanied Allied Children," was held by House Judiciary Subcommittee on Immigration, Integrity, Security, and Enforcement, and included her as a HHS whistleblower witness. Rhodes, who was detailed with Health and Human Services as an emergency intake site in Prono, California, told lawmakers about what she experienced on the ground. "I thought I was going to help place children in loving homes. Instead, I discovered that children are being trafficked through a sophisticated network that begins with recruiting in their home country, then smuggled to the U.S. border, and ends with Office of Refugee Resettlement delivers a child to a sponsor. Some sponsors, I found out, are criminals, human sex traffickers, and members of gangs and transnational criminal organizations. Some sponsors view children as commodities and assets to be used for earning income. This is why we're witnessing an explosion of labor trafficking," she said. According to Customs and Border Protection statistics, the number of unaccompanied children who arrive at the border has swelled from 33,239 in fiscal year 2020 to more than 146,000 in fiscal year 2021 and 152,000 in fiscal year 2022. So far, in fiscal year 2023, there have been more than 70,000 plus encounters of unaccompanied children. The Biden administration has been hit by a number of New York Times reports detailing a rise in child exploitation, where children are forced into labor force, sometimes to pay back their smuggling cost. It has led to concerns that by transporting children to sponsors, the U.S. is involved in child trafficking. The Times reported how officials in the Biden administration repeatedly ignore signs of explosive growth in the child labor force. Whether intentionally or not, It could be argued that the United States government has become the middleman in a large-scale, multi-million-dollar child trafficking operation that is run by bad actors seeking to profit off the lives of children, Rhodes said. She said how she saw children becoming captive to their sponsors as they couldn't seek help in English or Spanish, and some sponsors use multiple addresses to obtain sponsors of children, realizing that we are not offering children the American dream, but instead putting them in modern-day slavery with wicked overlords was a terrible revelation. She said, adding that her life will never be the same after what she witnessed doing this job. Rhodes told lawmakers that it is my hope you'll take action to end this crisis. To safeguard the lives of these vulnerable children, she called for a greater oversight and transparency from HHS, including from the Office of Inspector General. The stopping of retaliation against whistleblowers like her that are coming out, and an end to the culture of speedy over safety, and a requirement that sponsors report to the Office of Refugee Resettlement. As it is written, a wise man listens to advice, while a fool continues his folly. HHS needs to be wise to care for these children, she said. Last month, HHS Secretary pushed back on the agency being unable to contact 85,000 minors, and also said that Homeland Security authorities are limited by Congress. Congress was giving us certain authorities. Our authorities end when we have found a suitable sponsor to place with the child. We try to do some follow-up, but neither the child or the sponsor is actually obligated to follow up with us. Meanwhile, domestic policy advisor Susan Rice, who left her role this week, responded to the Times report that her team was shown evidence of a growing migrant crisis of child labor. We were never informed, though, of any kind of systemic problem with child labor or migrant child labor, she said. This, folks, is unacceptable. It is very disheartening. This administration, and possibly even administrations before this administration, for all we know, according to this whistleblower, is involved in sex trafficking of children, slavery in the United States of America. And this must stop now. It is up to each of you now to take this information I've shared and share it every place you can on social media. Share this video, and also contact your members of Congress and tell them this must be fixed now. As always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders and their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America, and may God bless these children and oversee their protection against what's happening right now under the United States of America government. Thank you, and please tune in on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central for the Douglas Ducote Show.